As we come back to Uvalde, the police are really defending their response, but still have been unable to answer the essential question of was there more they could do in those 60 seconds. Here's a little bit more sound from the officers describing those 60 minutes from when the gunman walked in and began shooting at police who had responded to 911 calls, and when they finally were able to kill him after he had killed 21 people inside.
The Independent School District Police Department are inside, making entry. They hear gunfire, they take rounds, they move back, get cover. Officers are there, the initial officers, they receive gunfire. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. But we have officers calling for additional resources.
And now the question for the entire country, as put by the New York Times just a couple of minutes ago. Uvalde had prepared for school shootings. It did not stop the rampage. Like those in schools around the country, they had trained to handle shootings and invested in more security. Bring in Brad Oliver, an expert in school security and a former Texas Ranger as well. So, Brad, Uvalde did all the right things. Why didn't it work?
Well, let's slow down a little bit and let's look at it. They had a lot of security measures in place, but something that I'm co-owner in a company with is what we're doing is we are training the school faculty, the school staff to have weapons in the school that they're immediate responders. You're talking about all the officers that were headed there to the school. They're first responders. It takes minutes, as you've shown on your screen a while ago. It takes up to 4 minutes before they got there. Well, that 4 minutes before those officers got there, that's what we need to be focusing in on, is what can we do to provide training for our school districts. And we believe in what we're doing with 30 school districts and across the state of Texas is arming our teachers.
No, but Brad, I understand that, and that's looking forward. But if we don't look backwards and you think about even doors being unlocked here, how does the public not feel as though at least something was missed?
Yeah, sure. The public is already thinking that. They're wanting answers. And the thing that I can tell you, Leland, is let's let that investigation get completed, because it will be facts. It will be not assumptions. It will not be anybody's opinion. It will be the facts. Let's let it all play out. Let's get this investigation over with. No. And there will be a very full report. Then that's when we start looking at it and say 100% this failed, this worked, and this failed. This is how we move forward. But we got to have the facts, because as you said, there have been things before people have said the last 2 days that they've had to back up on. So let's get the facts first.
You know, that is an excellent point in terms of waiting to hear actually what comes out, that minute by minute, the tick-tock as it were, who moved where, who was taking rounds, and the like. Safety protocols in place at the school, perimeter fencing. We know he jumped over the fence. Locked classroom doors. This is going to be a big question coming up in a minute. Social Sentinel software that monitors social media. This didn't pick up the gunman's stuff on social media, but there's probably no reason to think anything would. Student lockdown drills. We know that students knew what to do because they did it. Support counselors, threat assessment teams, visitor management. He didn't come through the visitor area. He walked through a door that was unlocked. This is what struck me the most, though. A law enforcement official familiar with the investigation said the Border Patrol agents, these are the people who eventually went in, had been trained in special weapons and tactics, although a number of them were off duty. One was wearing a baseball hat because he didn't even bother to suit up. He had such a willingness to go. The agents had trouble breaching the classroom door and had to get a staff member to open the room with a key. Is there something to be said for the fact that the classrooms are now fortified to the point that if a gunman gets in, he can turn it into his own personal killing gallery?
Absolutely, Leland. And I would tell you, though, that's the way the training has been for several years, is that you go down into that lockdown mode, you shelter in place. And the whole thing is that you want to stop that, fortify that door where somebody can't get in. Unfortunately, this evil person, again, I'm not going to ever mention his name, and I wish people would stop doing that because that's what he wants, is I wish they could have got the door shut before, but we don't know exactly what happened, right? We need to wait and find out. Let's see if there's any type of video from inside. If any other eyewitnesses can help us piece that together. How did he go in there? Why did he go in that room? We don't know those answers. But that's always been a concern, that once the door gets locked, it is extremely hard for law enforcement to get in there. Because if they're doing everything that Uvalde appears, what they had their protocols is they probably had extra locks on those doors, which makes it even harder to get in, right? So again, there's so many unanswered questions. I know everybody wants them. I want them, but we're just going to have to get.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent. It's really it's an excellent point, and it's a good reminder that you've got to take time. And we think about 60 minutes, and really you think about that as you're getting shot at. People regroup. They start evacuating kids. They go in. They're being shot at. They retreat for a minute. They go in again. They find the door. They make sure there's no other gunmen inside. The door is locked. They go out. They try to find the guy with the key, and then they go in. It's hard to say at that point that the officers haven't done anything in any way wrong at all. I just want to play back for you this soundbite from Javier Cazares talking about his message to police. And he really, understandably as a father, is very upset, but could not get away from this feeling that he was being held back from running towards the sound of gunfire to save his children while police officers were standing around. Take a listen. This, Javier, as soon as they heard the gunshots, they should have rushed in. You know, that didn't happen. You know, more policemen came in increments. They were unprepared. And no, there should have been children's and no, there should not have been children that were dead. And I asked if you think they were unprepared, cowardly, or disorganized. He said all three. Brad, is any of those a fair assessment based just on what you've seen yet?
No, I'm not gonna categorize what he said. That's his opinion, right? That's what, and he is a grieving father, so we're definitely going to have to cut him some slack because that's what he feels. He lost a family member. And but that's his opinion. What I deal in, what I've always dealt in the last 27 years being in law enforcement, and vast majority of that was in the Texas Ranger Division, is we got to deal with facts. So you were showing a deal earlier with the trooper that was given the press conference. Well, I personally know him for over 28 years. He's the regional director for Region 3. I promise you won't find any more honest person than that man right there. And I promise you they will get to the bottom of everything, and there will be that thorough report. Let's let that report get done. Let's look at it and then objectively look at the facts, not emotion. Because this is so emotional when you lose children. It's terrible.
Yeah, no, it was clear watching that press conference that the director, as you pointed out, was personally and emotionally really invested in this. Your imprimatur of honesty and integrity only goes along to sort of the raw emotion and speaks to his values that we saw. Hey, Brad, this was a great conversation. We appreciate it, and some important reminders in here. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.